You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Duplessis, America's mortgage mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Duplessis, Mortgage Mastery Mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Hey there, everybody. It's Jen Duplessis. I am here with you on the next episode of Mortgage Lending Mastery. And I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I say it every time. I say it every single time, but I do really appreciate when everyone's listening and paying it forward and giving us, leaving us, reviews and a great 5-star rating and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I appreciate all of it. And I don't ever want to have that go unnoticed. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited about our guest today. We've been on a little path together without really knowing it. And it's not in our businesses necessarily, but sort of in our lives. And, we both, Chris, I'm going to tell you who he is. His name's Chris Sinatra, but we both were coached by the same coach and, so we sort of went our separate ways. I don't know if you're still coaching with him, but we sort of went separate ways and I went on to other things and we reconvened at the Marketers Cruise. And I know I brought that up everybody a lot, but that's exactly why I go on the Marketers Cruise, because look at all the wonderful guests that we have on the show. So with that, Chris, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here.
Thank you, Jen. Excited to be here.
Thank you. So let me tell everybody a little bit about you. Your name is Christopher, or you go by Chris Sinatra. And yes, you are a cousin of Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra. You're a real estate agent, realtor, I apologize, specializing in residential real estate in Connecticut. And I know that you really provide a common sense know-how approach to working with your clients. I've watched a lot of your videos. I really want to talk to you about your videos too. Don't let me forget. You've been doing this for quite some time, for over 3 decades, and you have a lot of insight as to what, is going on in the market right now, how we can help other realtors as loan officers listening to the show, and as realtors listening to the show, how we can help others, achieve success. So with that, I want to, and we did talk about this. I want to start off talking about Frank Sinatra. Were you around when he was around, or are you I know you're like a second or third cousin, but how has that impacted your family? What about your family is unique about being part of, Sinatra's heritage?
Yeah. Well, it's the only question that I get asked every single day.
I imagine. Yeah. Nothing.
Of my life. Now 6 decades. And basically since I was in kindergarten, are you related to Frank Sinatra? And
yes.
Then when I say yes, half the people go, no, you're not. Okay, well, but yes, I am. My father was named Frank Sinatra, not after the singer, but it's a family name. So I think we have like 6 Frank Sinatras in our family. Yeah. But my mother said, no more of that. So
so you got Chris. Yeah.
I got Chris.
Yeah, I know. So, and so how is that, because there's some things in my husband's family. I mean, we all have it in our family, right? In my heritage that has an impact on who we are as we, as we're adults, and that we want to pass along to our kids. And sometimes plays a role in our business, depending on, what a background has brought to you. What has your background brought to you that has played a role in your practice?
Well, the first thing that's my background's brought to me is the fact that, for 5 decades in business, people called me Frank because they never remember my first name. They'll always say Sinatra. So I said, you know what? It only took me 4 decades to realize I don't need my first name. Right. So my website is actually
Sinatra.
Sinatrasales.com, because that's what everybody remembers. And
Yeah.
still everybody calls me Frank or Sinatra. I don't buck it anymore. So I embrace it because I can go a decade or two and people will say Sinatra, right? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So as long
yeah.
as they remember me, good, bad, or indifferent, I doesn't matter to me.
You know,
So
you gotta take what you take, what you can, right? I mean, and especially in the industry that, you know, you're in and that this show is on and
yep,
everything in the mortgage industry, you know, you got to do something to differentiate yourself. And thank God you have a name that
100%.
allows you to do it, you know. I think even if you weren't related to him, I would still use it, right? Because everybody knows it so well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
really cool. That's cool. Is there anything in your childhood or background that you can recall that set you out on this path? Not to be a real estate agent necessarily, but I know in your bio you say a lot about work ethic and common sense knowledge. You know, where does that stem from that you really want to shine a light on that with your clients to let them know that you're not uh, a yucky car salesperson. Instead, you are somebody that really has a lot of anchoring and meat to what you provide to people.
Yeah, well, my work ethic absolutely comes from not only my parents, but both sets of grandparents. Everyone worked, even back in the day. So work ethic definitely from the family. But the desire to help people came out at a young age. We used to have back in the day, we used to have can drives in elementary school, and I would go out my wagon
Yeah.
for days and bring, and my mother would be like, oh my God, I got to bring all this stuff to school, so we'd fill the station wagon with cans. And I can remember seventh grade, like 1,200 canned goods, to help people. So that's kind of where it started, I would guess, and just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, once work ethic is instilled in somebody, you're part of a team, you've had teams, those that are listening may have a team. You can't teach work ethic. You can teach the mechanics of all this business, but you really can't teach work ethic. So what do you say to, or do you have stories about hiring the right people or not hiring the right people, knowing who to play with and who to get out of the sandbox from?
Yeah.
Do you have any stories on that as it relates to work ethic?
Um,
Thoughts about
I've
it?
always, yeah, I've always hired the personality, the person who is grateful for the interview, number one, grateful to, have the opportunity for this potential job. And that's carried over. You're right. You can't teach work ethic. All the minutia of a job, you can be taught, but you can't teach, being the right person, doing the right thing. So,
Yeah,
looking deep, sometimes you only have a few minutes in an interview, really looking deep into the person and saying, is this person really going to bring out the best in me, and vice versa, on a team? And that's, because we all want to be successful and we all want to help our clients.
yeah,
So that's what that's what drew me to join a team, and that's what keeps me on a team, is that shared bond.
yeah. So let's talk about, the team and the company that you're with, I mean, this is a really large brokerage firm. There's
And yet
seven,
we're not.
yeah, but there's
So,
seven
so we're
of
yeah.
agents, and so how do you, I'm talking to the real estate agent now, or to the mortgage loan officer who's talking to a new real estate agent. How do
Yeah.
you set yourself aside and differentiate yourself from the competition, and even the competition inside of a company where you're learning and you need some more attention to help support you? How do
Yep.
you do that?
So I'm part of the Higgins Group Private Brokerage. I
Mhm,
would call us a large boutique firm based in Connecticut.
mhm.
Um, Under that, I'm part of the Vanderblue Team. We have a couple dozen agents. Proud to call them my teammates every day. And really great commodity. There's no infighting, there's no backstabbing. It's all about togetherness and helping each other out. And then both our broker and our team president really promote not only the concept of the team, but also the individual, working together in conjunction to help, to help our clients. And it doesn't matter if what property you're selling. We're going to give it 110% every day, buying, selling, renting, investing, whatever. So having that ability to be a part of a brokerage like that, a team like that, and still, do my own thing when it comes to being who I am, really is what I like to call home. It's fabulous.
Yeah. So what do you think it is that your team does or your company does? I mean, other than having the mindset for it, I get the mindset. But so often when realtors join a team when they're brand new, to get that support and be under the wing of a more seasoned person, that person has such an ego that the person who joins the team can never go out on their own. They can never leave the coop because everything is branded under that person. So what do you think it is that your company does different, whether it's mindset or mechanical or, a mission or a principle that you live by that allows for the individual to have their own reputation and brand contained inside the power and strength of a larger brand with all kinds of experience so that a consumer says, look, you don't just get Chris Sinatra, you get everybody behind him. And that's powerful.
Super powerful. And that's, again, what Rick Higgins, Julie Vanderblue, and everybody associated with our brokerage and team, that's what we talk about every day. And we walk. It's so important to act like you speak. And, people who see my videos, my goofy videos that I do, then they meet me because they don't know me sometimes. And they're like, wow, you're just like the person on the video. Yes, I'm not fake. I am actually a real person who am blessed to love what I do. It is my absolute passion. So, and my clients know that. They're like, oh my God, you are so totally into this. And, that's why I work so hard for them, because it's a labor of love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really exudes there. I'm feeling it come through and everything. There's so many people that are, a title in name, but then they don't back it up with all of that. And, I watched an interview about your particular line of practice and how you like to think things. One of the things that stood out to me is that you said, I would hands down, I'm paraphrasing, hands down, put money on it that 100% of my clients know who their realtor is, even after the sale is closed, which is, the National Association of Realtors says, 85% of people say, yeah, I'll use my past realtor, but only 13% of them do because they don't remember who they are. So
if it's possible to have more than 100%, I would definitely have more than 100%. I really don't go often without speaking to every client I've ever had. People who move out of state and move away. I talk to them, I email them and stay in contact. And for everyone who I have had the privilege to work with that's local, and when I say local, I mean living in the state of Connecticut, they see me at least twice a year. And I usually bring them a little something for Thanksgiving, and
a little
people
pop.
have
a
little homemade pie. And I've had people call me the week before Thanksgiving and like,
did I buy one, or are you coming by?
Are you? I'm like, no, so it's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. So let's talk about, I want to come back to your videos in a little bit, but I want to talk about NAR because I think that this is a good bridge to this. One of the things that, I've been talking to a lot of real estate agents, a lot of professionals, mortgage people as well. Just what is our take on this? Attorneys, with what's happening with the National Association of Realtors and how that will change what's going to happen in the real estate and mortgage and title, just everything. It's going to change. But one of the things that is becoming the golden thread through all of this is that Relationship oriented real estate agents are gonna survive. The cream will come to the top. Those that are transactional, kind of goofing around with this, part-time, dabbling, making it a side hustle, they're not going to survive. And I mean, I can hear from you and I'm seeing it. 100% of your clients know who you are. You've got that work ethic. You want to serve them. You know, I know that you're going to come out on this, you know, on top of it, but give us your perspective on everything about this. What are sellers going to do? What are buyers going to do? What do they need to do? Do you see a big 180 on this, or is it just a shift that most people will make, but those that don't do a good job, it's a big shift? What's your take?
So I'm probably in the minority here, but I embrace change. I wasn't always like that, but I do embrace change. I look at this and my teammates and our brokerage looks at this as a huge opportunity for us. Because we know we're always still going to be there for our clients and nothing's going to change that. So what's going to happen? I don't really think the average home buyer or seller is going to notice a difference right now as we sit here, you know, in early April of 2024. I really don't think they're going to notice a huge difference. It's the intricacies and things like that, but we're already planning, you know, to go forward in a big way. Obviously, you know, if there's new rules put in place, we'll embrace them.
Yeah.
But it's going to affect the day-to-day operations that we've been doing for decades. No, not really. You know, not really at all. So it's going to be a case of the cream. You said it before, the cream rising to the top. If you are a realtor or anybody associated with the real estate business, and you embrace this as an opportunity, and really delve into it as your passion, you're going to do just fine. And if not, you will fall by the wayside, as many people already have done, and
Yeah.
more will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that, you know, and quite frankly, anyone who's in mortgage, title, or real estate, you know, if you don't like change, you're actually in the wrong business because that is one thing that I miss, you know, after retiring after, you know, 3.5 decades. When I retired, I was like, wow, I'm not in the know. I don't, you know, there's no change. I'm not going, why do they want to do this? Why do we have to do that? You know, and so it's almost like a drug. You know, and if you don't want that, you know, I had another guest on my show and something she said that was really cool is that there are gifts in shifts. And I think when the market does shift, there are gifts that come out of it. And I think that's what's going to happen in this case here. Are you doing, you know, this reminds me of a shift that we had many years ago when we had the Great Recession and Dodd-Frank bill came out, right? Everything, the rules changed, and we had a lot of sellers who weren't aware of it. They're used to a HUD-1 and not a CD, right? And because they were sitting on their homes for so long, right? They were upside down. So by the time they were ready to sell their home, there was a whole new world there. No, you can't close in a day. No, you know, all of the semantics that happen around it. And we started doing something called, well, I was so tired of first-time home buyer seminars that I called them home buyer seminars, because everybody had to learn something new. And then I started home seller seminars and started a series called The Seller's Edge, where we taught sellers what to expect in this new world. Do you see that education is going to be a key point to this at some point, either as a group collective of pulling all of your clients in and doing one big webinar that explains it? Or are you all taking the thought of, hey, if it isn't broken, let's not break it. Let's work on it, you know, per person type of approach?
So the educational part has always been a massive component of my philosophy, our team's philosophy, our brokerage philosophy. You know, that's not changing. It's just going to be educating them about the changes and the things they need to know.
Yeah.
They're going through it. Do I think I'm going to be doing seminars? No, not, you know, individually I will, but not as a group or in front of a crowd. I leave that to the professionals, the attorneys, our broker and his staff, and everybody there, they do a great job. So that's specifically for them
Yeah.
to teach us, all the changes. But there aren't from where I sit now, and I've sat through a half dozen seminars in the past few weeks. There are some changes. I'll call them fairly minor, but again, back to the big elephant in the room is the average consumer in real estate going to notice a significant change? No, not from what I've seen and read. No. And
Yeah.
people I've talked to, my clients I've talked to, they're like, what's going on? And, you read and you take what you read with a grain of salt, because some of it's true and some of it's not.
Well, it's
So
like
you have
anything,
to
there's a pendulum, right? There's always a pendulum, and it's like, it's a world, and then it all kind of balances out and stuff. And, it's sort of that hype scale that's in the world, that everyone's all hyped up and they're all learning. Everybody's learning about it right now. There's NAR, NAR, and I don't even know why they call it, it's a NAR seminar. And right, so there's all this NAR stuff going on. It was like when social media came out, everybody was teaching realtors about social media. And now we're like, oh my gosh, if I have to sit through another social media, because the hype is over, right? And so you get into that tranche, and then you get into stability. And I think that's the, one of the key things. Okay, so another question I want to ask you is, so if there's someone listening that is a loan officer and they want to work with a realtor like you, and they really are drawn to this good guy thing that you have. But if they're really drawn to that, and they've got a partner that they want to, a referral partner, that being a real estate agent that they want to attract, what is the best way for a loan officer, in your perspective, to attract? I know listen, I've done panels where one says, don't call me. And people are going, oh, don't call me. They're writing it down really fast. And then the next one says, only text me, or only call me. And they write it down, not realizing that there's a conflict between what everyone says. So I'm sure there's some personal things in it, but I'm sure you've had tons of loan officers calling you all the time. What is it that a loan officer can do that can really provide true value to a realtor in today's market?
Proof is in the pudding. Show me that you work as hard as I do. I don't take a day off. I don't really take evenings off or mornings off.
It's integration.
Show, yeah, it's part of the industry, but it's also part of what I love. And so show me you do that. And I'm blessed because I have great mortgage people that I work with from several different companies. And yes, I still get calls and emails from others. I'm generally not, someone to say no. I will hear everyone out and see what they have to offer. But it's a challenge because, I want to give the people who have taken care of my clients over the years, really well.
Yeah.
I go back to them because I'm at heart a very, very loyal person, not only to my clients and my family, but to my providers as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate, and I'm sure there's people that are listening that appreciate that you say you're open to a conversation. I've always said that, when you have your first child, it fills your heart. When you have your second, you don't go, sorry, I don't like the first one, I only like the second one. Your heart gets bigger. And if you can be open to whatever someone has to offer, you never know what that dynamic is that they're going to bring to you. It just increases your business. And, I love that you have that outlook on it. It's always been, that thought process for me as well, when I was in the business. So I thank you for sharing that. Okay. So what do you
I think my
Yeah.
mortgage providers are like my kids. They all think they're my favorite. So that's fine.
Right. That's even better, right? It's like building that right there. Right. I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay. So what do you say to the new real estate agent in today's market? They just got their license. What's
Yep.
step one in your opinion, counsel?
Burn the bridges. Don't burn the boats, burn the bridges.
I love it.
Don't look back. You have to dive in with both feet. You
Yeah.
have to do this job full time, especially if you're starting out.
Mhm.
And you have to network and basically start with your phone and start at A and work each day through to Z. And then when you're done, you start again.
Yeah.
And
Make sure
you
everybody
have
knows
to,
what to do.
yeah, you have to promote yourself. And
Yeah.
it's not easy. It was my biggest hurdle. I was not, and I'm still not great at it, but I was not good at self-promotion. I would give myself a C minus now, and that's after years of working on
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
So you have to self-promote. You have to learn how to bring it up in virtually every conversation. Rick Higgins, our broker, and Julie Vanderblue, our team president, are fantastic at it because you don't even know they're doing it.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
I've listened and I've watched and so I've gotten, mediocre at it, but good enough to get by and be able to help people. And it's gotten easier, but what do they say? It takes you doing something, I don't know, 45 days in a row to become a habit.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a
But to
slow
be an
learner because it's
expert,
taking me a lot longer.
to be an expert, you need 10 years, right? Or 50,000
Yeah,
hours.
exactly.
Crazy
Yeah,
thing. I think I learned that from Paul.
I absolutely,
I
I'm
think
going to
we
give
learned
that
that from Paul. Yeah.
credit. Yes, 100%. Paul
Yeah.
Fink. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's truly what it is. And I love that you're saying this too. One of the things I just want to add to this, and maybe you can comment on it too, is that, I'm an advocate for the people that I coach, loan officers, other business people. We have a tendency to talk about what we do, like, hey, I'm a realtor. Hey, I'm a mortgage person. Hey, I'm a doctor. And we don't, or plumber, whatever it is. And that, well, that's okay. I'm just going to say that's okay right now. But if you were coaching with me, I would tell you, no, you can't use your title anymore. But I think what's more important is not what you do, but how you do it. If you're self-promoting, don't promote yourself as a realtor, because then you're just like everybody else. The self-promotion needs to have the angle of how you do it and what makes you special. So do you have any comments on that?
Oof. Well, like I said, I'm not really great at self-promotion. I'm getting there. I'm a work in progress. But I would much rather hear about you. If
Yeah,
I meet somebody for the first time, I would much rather hear about what they do.
yeah.
What makes them tick.
Mhm.
Uh, and then, I follow the conversation like a leaf in a river. I kind of let it take me where it wants to go. And if I have an opportunity to work in my passion, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, and I think that's what I'm talking about too, is just, that we tend to go in with, hey, I'm a realtor. So do you want to buy a house? Hey, I'm a lender. Do you want to get a loan? Hey, I'm a plumber. Do you have any problems? Right. I think we tend to go in that way instead of, talking about what makes us so unique and why we do what we do, and I think that is such a powerful piece. So I just want to throw that out because if you're going to go self-promote, just don't promote yourself as a commodity. Right? Don't promote
No,
yourself as a brown paper bag, promote yourself as a Tiffany's box because we know what's going to go in there, right? With a brown paper bag, we have no clue. You're just like everybody else. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It's just like everybody else. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I love that you said, you got to go and you got to burn the boats. That is so, so important. I remember working with a realtor one time. We had a problem on a deal. And I couldn't find her. And she finally called me back. She goes, oh, well, I was working at Jared's because I worked there part-time in the jewelry department. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm taking all the heat and you're not? You're part-time? So I would say that in any role that any of us are taking on, this is a huge responsibility, in this industry. So thank you so much for that insight on, and I appreciate it. I want to talk about your videos for a minute and how you're doing your marketing. When I when I looked at them, I don't know how many times I've told my clients, be the girl or guy on the street, be the person on the street and highlight these other businesses. and interview them and find out what's going on. So tell us a little bit about your videos and why you started them, what you're doing with them, and what kind of results are you seeing from them? Because like you said, every time we start off something, it's pretty wonky, right? And then we get really good at it. And I watched the older ones that you did, and I watched the newer ones that you did. And boy, there's been a progression, and this is where that mastery comes in. So tell us
Well, I'm
about.
glad you noticed. Uh,
I did.
I don't, but I'm glad you did. So it started off, honestly, when I was thinking of what did I want to do to differentiate myself, my business, and the team from everyone else in the real estate business. And I remember my broker kidding me, God, how many towns did you close in this year? I saw you closed here and here and here and here. And I was like, yeah, 19 towns, one year, and 17 the next, and 24 the next. And so it basically dawned on me, oh, wait, I'm kind of going wherever my clients need me to go.
Yeah.
So wherever I'm at that particular day, I'm there. And I'm like, okay, so I'm in front of this business or this park or this monument or whatever like that. And that's kind of what I've done over the last few years is here I am. Tell me what town I'm in. So we do Tuesday trivia videos, Wednesday trivia video answers. And it's been fun. I'll sometimes I'll actually get someplace. It's on my schedule, but I'm so caught up in what I'm doing that I get home and I'm like, oh, I forgot.
Right. I forgot to, and you're giving solid advice to your clients as well. You're talking, I remember one of the videos you were talking about, oh, it finally stopped raining. So let's talk about rain in your house and water and what it can do to your house and how you can make sure everything's going good. So, I think those little tidbits, a man on the street, what do they call a man about town? Hey,
And
you
about town, yeah.
something with that. Isn't there a Frank Sinatra song about town? Maybe it's
Yeah.
New York, I don't know, but it feels like there's something there, right? Because it is sort of the man about town, how you're sharing all of that. And how has it affected your business? Are people talking about it? Is it creating a buzz? Because don't you think in any business, it's all about creating buzz? That's what marketing is.
So interestingly enough, yeah, the
And there are
first year,
flies buzzing around you as we're talking too.
I know, I'm like the mayflies are out because
Watching
it's
us. That's pretty
beautiful.
funny. He's got the spring flies flying around him. I love it.
I'm not complaining. It's beautiful out today.
Yeah.
So the first year or so, yeah, not really a lot of buzz. And I was reminded of everybody keeps saying, you just got to keep doing it. So now here we are, year 3, and I've started over the last, several months, people saying, "Oh, I saw your video. Oh, I saw your video," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't even know who the people are who
Yeah.
are saying it to me,
Yeah.
like complete strangers." And oh, I saw your video. So okay, that's great. And if I can help somebody out or make somebody laugh, those are my 2 big things right there.
Yeah.
If I could do them simultaneously, that's a huge job.
Right. Well, and that's what it's about. It's about increasing your influence, right? Your influence is an attractor to your practice. So it's about doing that. And those that don't want to do videos and you're like, oh, I'm afraid to get in front of it and this, that, and the other, then the influence isn't there and the attraction doesn't happen. And it's twice as hard because you have to chase. You have to chase the business. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, Chris, it's been great chatting with you. I can't believe it's taken us maybe 4 years to actually sit down and talk.
Yeah, that's okay.
Are you on
All
the
good things.
Marketers Cruise next year?
I am.
Okay, good. Well, we'll make sure that we sit down and have a cocktail on a beach someplace. We'll do that instead.
Absolutely. Maybe 2 beaches.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, a lot. Maybe a pizza and profits and bagels and breakfast. I don't know, business
Yes.
breakfast, whatever they're calling it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Chris, do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share to the community of Mortgage Lending Mastery, where both loan officers, realtors, title companies, and investors are watching and listening?
Yeah. Wow. It's a huge opportunity and I don't have anything planned, so I'm just going to say what's in my heart.
Yeah.
Align yourself with somebody who gives a damn, who somebody cares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No matter what they're doing for you. And if that's the case, you can't go wrong.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for that wisdom. I appreciate it. I have a saying called, don't work with people that complicate, only work with people that complement. And it falls in line with that as well. You know, life's too short. We just don't have to work. We don't have to be everybody's friend. They don't have to all be our partners, and they don't have to all be our clients either. So I love that. And that's what's, you know, your sustainability in this business is all about that. So, you know, that's what keeps you going. So congratulations on your success, Chris. Thank you for your participation in creating a great reputation for your industry. It goes a long way to see that that continues to be out there in the big bad world. So I appreciate you being on the show today.
Yep. Thank you, Jen. It's been my pleasure to be here. And
Thank you. Thank you. Same thing. And again, thank you for listening. Please take a moment, scroll down, give us a great 5-star rating, and write a comment about what you heard from Chris, maybe an action you want to take or an aha moment that you got. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can hear all of these beautiful interviews that we have with all these wonderful, wonderful people making such a difference in the world. And with that, we'll catch you next time on Mortgage Lending Mastery.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.